y'all, I'm James Wright and welcome to my shop. What exactly is French polish and how can you do it at home? Let's dive in. In basic, French polish is the method by which you finish wood by polishing it in, usually through a paste wax, a shellac, a simple wax, or some combination of them. André Roubaud himself, the famous Frenchman, wrote about this interesting device. This is a polisheur. This one is made by Don at the barn from White Run, and it is designed for polishing finish in and rubbing it in. Even with nothing on it at all, using this to actually rub in and polish the surface, you can start to get an interesting shine. But if you mix in a little bit of beeswax or paste wax, you can get even more out of it. I generally prefer to use my own soft wax. Come at it from multiple directions and multiple angles. Then you can add the subtle color that comes with it, as well as a nice matte texture to it. More often than not, it wasn't something that went straight onto bare wood. You'd actually put it on top of another finish, such as shellac. So you get your color and your surface from that, filling in all the pores. Then you can come in with your wax and your polisher, and you can buff that in and polish the surface. The regular finish will add protection, whereas the polish will come in and fill any of those micro pores and give it a nice satin feel to it. I make my paste wax with boiled linseed oil, beeswax, and mineral spirits, but some people will actually put in some shellac or other things like that to add into the surface. If you want to see more on that, I actually have videos showing how to make the wax, as well as you can buy it yourself on woodbywright.com. Now, using the polisheur that you would see in Roubaud's book is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of historical evidence for it because, well, he wrote about it back in the day. But there are lots of other methods for getting a French polish. French polishing isn't one particular method. Many people use many different things. It's a way that you basically polish the surface at the end, usually with shellac, paste wax, and some combination of those. You'll see a lot of people who will use a rag and they'll take their shellac and really thin it down. Adding a lot of denatured alcohol to your shellac will thin it out, but that denatured alcohol will also eat into the surface and bond with it. So when you bring in your rag and you really polish it down with a very thin mixture, you're basically going to then polish it until the denatured alcohol completely disappears, and in which case you're just left with a finished surface. That's one of the fun things about shellac is it cures really quickly and the alcohol evaporates very quickly, so you can get a finish right off the bat. Usually that means building up the surface with a little bit of a thicker coat at the beginning and then finishing with 5, 6, 15, 20 coats of really thinned out shellac. You'll see some people actually going absolutely bonkers and doing 30-some coats of incredibly thin shellac, rubbing it in with each one. This is the point where people can go bonkers overboard and you can make all sorts of crazy mixtures between different types of wax and different types of oils, different types of shellacs and different thicknesses and different amounts of thinning you put in there, whether it's denatured alcohol or it's mineral spirits or some other combination of all those, and then what you actually do you use a rag, do you use a polisheur, do you use steel wool, or many other items. And all of them are French polish. So it's kind of one of those things of, oh, I do a French polish finish. Which one? Now, when a lot of people think about French polishing, they're thinking about a really high gloss, almost mirror finish that catches every light ray from any angle. And in all honesty, that's what a lot of people really want. But a lot of French polishes weren't actually that. Often, they were the finishing bit of wax that would go on top of your shellac. The shellac would do the protection, whereas the polish would be something you would come in and reapply from time to time and re-prep the surface. And if you want that really high gloss, you're going to want thinner coats of shellac and more of them, and usually with a softer surface like a rag. If you're wanting a matte finish, you're probably going to want to go with a little bit more wax. Now, you can actually build up the wax to be really cleanly polished with a polisheur, and that is one more thing that gets confusing because you can get that high gloss surface with any particular method. Some of them are just easier than others. Personally, I like to have actually slightly matte finish on it. Now, this is just a quick example, and I could have spent more time filling the pores, and it is red oak, so it's fairly heavily porous, so you're going to see a lot more in there. But this is what I French polished with the wax on top, whereas this is just a brushed shellac. So you can see they're relatively close, but this is a little bit more matte, whereas this is a little bit more shiny. So the more shellac you use, the easier it is to get finished. But if I want to take my time and really polish this down, or put more wax on it, or more coats on top polishing these in, I can also get the wax to look really shiny too. When I was about to start this video, I was going to do a method of putting on a French polish. But honestly, the more I do it and the more I try different methods, the more I try different methods. And the more methods I try, the more I want to try more, because everyone has a little bit of difference and everything has a little bit of fun, and I like learning new things. And so I wanted this video to be more about the totality of it rather than a particular method. And if you want to see particular methods, I'll leave a few videos out. Don from the barn at White Run, he has several videos out on this. He makes these polishers and does an amazing job with it. And he goes through a bunch of different methods. So if you really want to dig into this more, go over at his stuff. He is amazing at it. I'll leave links to it down below. But honestly, I say go out there and experiment. Try different mixtures, play with different things and see what you like. Try different methods of actually polishing it in. And it's one of those fun finishes that you can do very, very simply and just take random wood and polish it in, or you can take time and do it over days and days and weeks and really get that finish just right. So have a little bit of fun and experiment, because you never know what you're going to try and what you're going to find that you really enjoy, because it's going to be different for everyone. And that's one of the things I love about this sport, because what works for me is not going to work for you, and what works for the other guru over there isn't going to work for me. And so you can compare and contrast, play around, and find something that works for you. So I hope you like this video. Maybe in the future I'll do a couple specific videos going over particular methods or different things that I use. The problem is once I use them, I'm probably going to want to try something different in the future. So I really haven't settled on what I really like to do, because I like learning new things. But if you want to experiment, there's links to those videos down below. It's one of the things that I honestly love about hand tool woodworking is you can experiment, play with things. There is no right way to do it. There is no best way to do it. It's just the way that works for you and things that you've found. So let me know your methods down below. What mixtures do you use? What do you use to polish? How do you do it? I'd love to hear that and try new things. I really do like experimenting and playing with those. As well as anytime you comment down below, you are actually helping out the channel. Thank you, honestly. Just like hitting like, comment, share, subscribe, it helps us get in front of more people, helps the algorithm. You know how it works. YouTube runs on likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. But if you want to go even farther and really become an amazing, wonderful person, there's a bunch of names over here. Those are all of the fantastic, benevolent, gorgeous, and beautiful people over on Patreon. Because without patrons, we wouldn't be here. Between Patreon and memberships here on YouTube, honestly, thank you. You guys keep the lights on, you keep us going, you allow me to buy fun things and experiment and try new methods and bring more information to you. If you'd like to help out with that, then think about becoming a patron or a member, or just say thank you down below. There's a little thank you button. I think that'll do it for now. And until next time, have a wonderful day. This is a polisher. Or is it a polisher? Because it's French. So we want to come to here, we want to polish the board.